A very good afternoon to everyone present here. Our guest speaker for this session is a Met alumnus from the third batch of the Advanced Diploma in Mass Media program. Here's introducing with great pleasure Mr. Mubashir Usmani to share his knowledge on redefining digital entrepreneurship. After gaining experience in different verticals such as copywriting, content writing, and social media strategy, he established his very own agency, socialseety, in the year 2011 and another startup in 2017 called Upto Designs, which specializes in design and communication. Having worked with over 100 brands to help them achieve their digital marketing and design goals, he enjoys imparting all of his knowledge and expertise in teaching students who are keen to learn more about digital media. We welcome you, sir, and you can now proceed with the session.
Okay. So, hi guys. As Keith introduced me, my name is Mubashir, and I'm from the M3 batch. I don't know which batch you guys are from.
M17.
I'm 17.
M17, I feel old now. I just wanted to get started with the session just to give you an overview. I think we'll divide the session into two parts. One is I wanted to share my very own journey, what really happens after what happened after MET when I went out in the real world to, get a job and so to say find a career. And the other part is wherein I try to cover what exactly does it mean to be a digital entrepreneur and how you can go about it or help people who actually want to do that. So I'm from the like M3 batch, like I told you, which was back in 2007 and 2007 8 batch. So that was when I was in MET, and at that point in time I wanted to pursue copywriting, and I had absolutely no clue where I wanted to go in terms of advertising. The only experience I had about advertising was, in MET. Prior to MET, I had just done a BCom degree, and there was no, way for me to get a pathway towards, what I really wanted to do in life. People who don't know what to do in life, they generally do BCom. That's what I mean. I have no offense to anyone who's
I
done
agree,
BCom
sir.
over here, but that's what really happens because people who take arts are the people who are a bit wackier, and people who take science are the people who are studious. Beach wale they end up taking commerce. So that's what I did, and thankfully MET happened, and MET kind of you know guided me a lot in terms of where I really see myself in terms of my career, and that was advertising. And so advertising made the creative field, so to say, okay, let's do copywriting, and that's what I was very fascinated by. In the initial, months of MET, used to participate in a lot of, like, I'm sure how you guys must be doing, your um, sessions with, industry experts and, a lot of practical, know-how. And that's what I did, a lot of writing, a lot of jingle creation and all of that. It was very, what you call, very flamboyant sort of an idea to, get into copywriting. And that's what I tried. I even did my internship during MET days with a group called Lux Advertising. They were into the outdoor hoardings. I'm not sure if they're still active, but that is where I started my career with into copywriting. Uh, Post MET, and don't take this in the negative way. It was very hard for me to find a job in the very initial bit, because at that point in time, the competition was way too high. Uh, uh, when I actually went out and started giving interviews, there was very less demand for people. There was very less hiring happening, and it took me a while to find a job. Uh, and that's what I did. And MET helped me with that, finding the job. And the first day I did get a job, I quit the very first day, and uh, and that's simply because I just couldn't gel with that idea of going to a corporate structure and reporting to someone. And I had this entire idea that was built in my head that it's a very creative field, so jayenge, we'll actually be a part of this glamorous world. But the first day I went, it was very corporate, and I just couldn't fit in there. I just didn't see myself. and I quit the very next day. That was how I started, into advertising. It's a very strange journey. Uh, I didn't do much for the next couple of months, and while all my friends in MET were placed. Post that, I actually got a job. My first official job was in UTV Bindas. At that point in time, it was a channel, television channel. I'm not sure if you guys are aware. Uh, by the way, I'm just talking. Okay, I'm not sure if you guys are, if anyone wants to interject or ask me any questions, so you can. All right. Um, so I got my first job as in UTV Bindas as a content writer, and that was my so to say first trust with digital marketing, uh, because that is when Bindas was already an established channel for the youth, and they were coming up with a new website for the youth. So, uh, and MTV was kind of the competition. So we had to create a new website for them, which had a lot of wacky articles, and we had to go to colleges and interview people who were holding festivals, and college committees, and talking to head boys, and those kind of things were happening, and we had to write articles about them, and then we had to write fun articles, and these were pre Scoop Whoop days and pre BuzzFeed days. Like I remember writing articles like five stupid movies of all time, and and 10 movies you should never watch with your girlfriend and stuff like that, and like I said, all these list creations was my job, and I actually enjoyed it because I was already into movies, and I was very fascinated by television shows, and we used to get free tickets to actually go and review movies as well. So that's what I did, and that's where the digital interest started building up. uh, and I did that job for roughly about half a year or less than that even. Uh, and then I again, left that job because it wasn't just exciting anymore because the website was done. The website was live, and then we had to go our separate ways. Uh, I then joined another agency for digital marketing. It was called Ignite Digital Solutions, and that's where I got a job as a social media expert. And when I was hired, I was told that this is a social media job, and you have to do marketing for brands. I didn't even know what is the word social media. This I'm talking about back in 2009, when you know forget social media, internet itself was very new. People didn't have mobile phones in their hand. A lot of people, college going students, were they were having mobile phones, but there was no packages for internet, so accessibility was a big question. uh, we didn't really know what is marketing online. There was barely anything. Anything that was there was international case studies, possibly at that point in time. So in India, it was very new, and I had no clue what social media marketing is. But I took up the job because that time the person who hired me, he found me interesting because I was fascinated by the internet. And I had before getting the job, I had already created a lot of content on digital media because I was a participant on a lot of online boards, forum boards, or chat gaming communities and movie communities. So I had already got a sense of how the social media world works. And then when I got the job, what I realized that there's a whole new world that is now opening up in India, which is related to digital marketing. And that's when in the job, then we were told to create a lot of content for the brands that were the digital agency was handling, which was brands like Clear Trip or Sony Entertainment Television and Balaji Telefilms, and those were the kind of brands. So uh, one of the brands that I worked with was at that point in time, Dibakar Banerjee's film was Love, Sex or Dhoka. I think that was one of another digital movie that they were making, and it was kind of revolutionary at that point in time. So I had done the marketing for that movie on uh, online, so creating Facebook communities, and creating Twitter handle for Dibakar Banerjee and talking on his behalf, that kind of stuff. Apart from that, we did marketing for another movie called Once Upon a Time in Mumbai, if I'm not. That's the title. I don't remember correctly. It was an Ajay Devgan movie. So that also, so we just there was constant, new thing that we were learning, and while we were doing, there was no benchmark for digital at that point in time. Everything that was happening was something new. Every day there was something new happening. Facebook comes up with a new thing. There was no pages before, so they started pages. Then there was groups. Then there was new features. You could, do videos. You could, YouTube started annotations, and Twitter started booming up at that point in time. So every day there was something new. The moment we would pitch an idea to a client, okay, this is what we're going to do. The very next week, the idea had to be changed because something new had come up. And that's when I realized that to make your mark in digital, you have to be updated, like, to the date. And that's not really the case in traditional media, because when like I said, I was very interested in the traditional approach of copywriting and being a part of the offline agencies and stuff like that. But what I realized that it's kind of the same thing. What was there 25 years back is kind of the same rule, that applies even today. Television ratings are still monitored by the same old affairs. The way the prime time slots works is still the same. The way they are selling media is still the same. The way outdoor even works, the user behavior in terms of those things is pretty much standard, except in digital. Because everything was so new, we had to keep adapting, and that's really the crux of, which I will continue further, is the digital entrepreneur side of it. If you're not updated, you're not in the game. That's really what it is. And so that's what a lot of my learning came from there. I did that job for almost 2 years, and then I quit. Just because I didn't enjoy it anymore. And post that, I started. Uh, I actually did another job. I'm sure you're aware of another agency called Law and Kenneth. I was a part of that agency as well for some time, but I couldn't bear the job. I had to quit in 20 days. Uh, so again, I was very moody. But when I quit, I realized that okay, this corporate structured jobs is really not something that I'm looking for. There was this thing, working inside me, that I want to own something. I want to be a part of something that I create. And I had fairly good knowledge of social media and internet and digital marketing, so to say. And I knew at that point in time it was the only people who were running digital agencies were the big players. Like there was Dentsu, and uh, Ignite was where I was a part. That was a very big agency. There was Web Chutney, that was another big agency that at that point in time. So all the big players were having their offline section, but they were also having the small setup that okay, they were handling the digital part of it. And I saw that as something that was kind of problematic, because people who were really running the show of digital were really the people who were part of the offline, and they didn't have enough experience in digital world, because like I said, it was fairly new. So if you started back in 2008 2009, you would probably have more experience in digital than a person who's been working in the industry for the back 10 years, because you're more updated than the offline guy. And that's what I realized. I had that, when I started the digital agency, I already had the maximum experience I could, because I was there during the nascent period of digital marketing in India. And that's what I realized, that I need to start on my own. And this was when I was, 24 years, 23, 24 years old. And that's when I started my own company, is socialseety, which is basically another agency sort of a setup that we had. And uh, we started looking out doing content creation for brands, and we did a lot of case studies. Work with Lipton Ice Tea, work with Whirlpool for the launch in India, work with a lot of fashion related brands like Bombay High, and uh, then there was a couple of other pages. And then again, during that phase, what we realized, then there was the real boom of the startup happening. and start up again in the digital entrepreneur circuit, because every new startup that was coming, they were a bunch of people who wanted to be entrepreneurs. So we worked with them, like brands like Local Banya, uh, which was a direct competition for Big Basket, if I'm not mistaken. Big Basket is another word. Handy Home was another one wherein you could get your online services from for AC repairs and television repairs and stuff like that. City Flow was kind of an Uber for bus service. That was some of the brands that we worked with, and post that we continued doing a lot of social media marketing, and we expanded into website design and development, and design also. So that's when I started learning the whole idea that this digital marketing, like I said, is continuously evolving. And at that point in time, there was not much of Instagram, and so there was very less influencers that you could work with. The only influencers that were there were possibly Twitter influencers, and I myself was one at one point in time. uh, uh, I had what 17,000 tweets, and but by later on I kind of got tired of the platform, for my personal gain. But it just kind of started doing that on the side hustle, just to kind of cut short my own journey over here. Is basically I also started a lot of other things which, like I said, I wanted to experiment. So I started a comic blog as well, uh, because I was kind of in my group known as the funny guy, and who wanted to crack jokes. So I thought, why not do something with it. So I started a comic blog as well, and started putting up content online, and it kind of got viral at that point in time. And I gained a lot of traction. I started my own merchandising as well, to kind of sell it to people. So it was a comic stick figure sort of an approach. That was my first way of actually wanting to be a digital entrepreneur. Something that if I can start something on my own, if I have an idea, then why not do something with it? Because digital is so accessible these days that today if you have an idea, you don't really have to sit back and think, अरे कैसे करेंगे, funding कहाँ से आएगा, who will support me, because it's kind of a lone journey when you start on the digital sphere. um, that's what I did. I also started experimenting with another Facebook page. uh, if you guys are aware, Chandler Bing, there's a character in one of the sitcoms Friends. So I started creating that page, and I created a page just to kind of learn the content that I put online. How do people react, so that I have more learning experience for my brands as well, because the brands I was handling. So I just created the separate page, and I used to put up content. I used to see how people react. And that page also went viral in a matter of months. I had 5 lakh fans, and that point in time, things used to really go viral. And again, the digital entrepreneur inside kicked me in, and I had to figure out a way of how to monetize this thing. And I sold it. I sold that particular page, to someone who needed it. Someone who wanted to create their own. They had created their own website, and they wanted to popularize their website for selling products. So I kind of used my page to give it to that person, and I sold it off. So that was again one of the first digital transactions that I tried, and I made a lot of money on that, to be honest. So that is something that worked for me. And yes, these are the experimentations I have tried. And post that, 6 years in 2016, mid 17, I had to shut down my company, socialseety, because there was some uh, we had not matching of wavelength and with my partner and stuff like that. And then I started another company, which is Upto Design, which is where I'm currently working. And that's where again the focus is basically social media marketing and digital marketing. And that's now the major focus is to understand. A lot of startups are coming up to us, and very new people, and not just startups, even individuals, how to market themselves online, and how to create opportunities for them, and make sure that they are reaching out to the right people. And that's where everyone is now become an entrepreneur, right from a mother sitting at home, who would just so called the housewife, because internet has made everything so accessible. And with the rise of the whole online communities, you can actually be you know, have a business for yourself, you know. So that's why you have so many Instagram influencers who are not just trust me, no one wants to be an influencer because they are really influencing people, or they believe that's the right thing to do. A lot of it has got to do with the idea that it's a business and you can make money off it. A lot of people create content online, YouTubers or community gaming communities, is because you are constantly on the look for people who are going to watch you, who are going to buy your products, and who it's a business essentially. So that's what it is, and that's where uh, you know I just wanted to get a sense from you guys as well. Do you guys currently feel that what is your opinion about digital entrepreneurship? Is this something that excites you? Is it something that you're curious about? I want to get some thoughts from you as well, because I've been talking a lot, I feel. Go ahead,
So
Annie. Anyone.
I've never given digital entrepreneurship a thought because this is a very new concept for me. Like I've heard it for the first time, to be honest, digital entrepreneurship. But digital as a space, it scares me because of its vastness.
Right,
And I don't know, like you said, I am more inclined towards, the corporate structure that you spoke about and
right, right,
content writing, advertising per
right,
se.
right,
But I would also like to, not be scared of the digital world because somewhere or the other advertising is connected to, it is
right,
going to be connected to digital and it's sewing
right,
into each other. So then
right,
how do I not be overwhelmed by this platform?
hmm, right. Fair enough. Anyone else wants to share? If they've ever thought that, I have all the qualities of being an influencer, or is creating something on my own on the digital.
So I previously worked at a digital agency. So I got to know
Right,
that there was I don't remember her name, I think Avantika. There was this lady who did all the PR for like these contestants who stepped into Big Boss. And she was like an
right,
entrepreneur. Like she did it all on her own. She
right,
didn't have like an agency or anything. So,
hmm,
I did not get to learn much about her because I was just leaving at that point, but I just heard
hmm,
about it and I found it very
hmm,
interesting. But I didn't know how to like how people go about. So that's something that I'm
right,
looking forward to learn. So apart from PR, also like
hmm.
their digital stuff, she used to handle all of that. So
Okay. Okay. So, like I said, and you guys are pretty much familiar with all these platforms, I'm assuming, because, it's a thing now. I'm sure everyone is being on Instagram and, checking out the stories while even attending lectures. So, and you must have seen how, you're kind of, you are seeing ads online, or you're seeing influencers online, or somewhere or the other there's some sort of an interaction with someone who's kind of running a business. And if that person has reached out to do, you can essentially call it, that you are the target audience for that, and you that entrepreneur has kind of made their mark in terms of digital. Now it really depends, because digital entrepreneurship is essentially what, in a nutshell, if I have to summarize, it's just someone who has an idea and is just using the digital platform to reach their goals. Earlier, what I would say is that digital had a lot of was kind of separate from the offline world, but because as the two worlds have merged together now a lot, you cannot really run a business just by being an offline business, and vice versa. Although digital is a lot lesser dependent on the offline world, if I have to be more blunt about it, but I feel the lines are blurring. Uh, even smaller businesses are now adopting the digital sphere, so to say. Like you go to any shop, even a small uh, chai wala, they'll have Google Pay now, you know and that's the extent to which everyone is kind of accepting digital in their own lives, which we didn't predict, to be honest. At that point in time, we really thought that it will take its course, because India is a very it takes a while for it to get anywhere. However, the speed at it's going, you can see that there's a lot of the entrepreneurial spirit even coming on the digital sphere. There are a lot of people who are creating content, YouTubers, who are building communities, gamers who are actually, world class gamers who are actually, on Discord and, different platforms. And, that's what is happening. And that's what the game is. A lot of the marketing that I'm sure you guys are also learning in your other subjects is reaching out to your potential target audience. And with the traditional media, it was just a one way communication wherein, okay, मैंने ad बना लिया है and now I have to put that ad on a television slot, or, this is the creative, this goes into Times of India, or this is the, creative that goes in an outdoor hoarding. And that's it. You don't know what the audience is talking to you. You don't know whether they like the ad or don't like the ad. You have no data to prove that. The data that you have is kind of on a smaller scale. On the digital, the game changes drastically. Everything that you put online is measurable. And that's when all these new fields of entrepreneurs come into play, because they are pitching themselves. Once they start creating their own community, they are pitching themselves as advocates of the brand that they could actually market. So that's what brands are also now looking out to, reaching these influencer community, or people who they can collaborate and create newer content. And that is helping them kind of connect with their real target audience, because people who are online these days, they don't just follow instruction from brand. People are looking up to their people they aspire to be like, so they are following them. They are looking at their actors or politicians or decision makers. So everyone is getting information firsthand from the people who are experiencing that particular thing. You're no longer It's no longer hearsay. So if I have to reach out to a fan, to a celebrity today, I can reach out to them directly, you know, as well. So in a way, it gives the power to the user to be the entrepreneur as well, and that kind of creates newer opportunities from a marketing perspective. And a lot of people, I remember in the early days, they used to ask me, okay, you know what, when I go on WhatsApp, I don't see ads. So WhatsApp paisa kaise banata hai? And the same question was with regards to Facebook or Twitter or any other platform. And at that point in time, I also realized that, the the money is you, the people, the data that you're giving out to there. So that's when a lot of that kind of changed the game from someone who has an idea as to how do I go online and actually create myself. Because the earlier mindset was, okay, if you want to create a business, how much profits you're going to make, or can I be, मैं एक साल इसमें काम करूंगा, how much investment I have to put and how much out returns I'm going to get, and that would be the question. But in terms of digital, there are a lot of that completely goes out of the window, because you can spend an entire year not earning anything but still earning a lot in terms of just creating a community for yourself, a list of subscribers, so to say, a list of followers, or a list of people who actually are inspiring. So that's what kind of makes people want to try the digital entrepreneurship route, because it's easier. Earlier I could never think of running a business, but now it's just at the click of a button. I don't have to think much. Yet tomorrow I can create a product. I can literally go onto Amazon.in and create my own shop. I don't even have to buy a physical space. you know and that's what a lot of Indian households are also doing. Even mothers who are making homemade cooking, they are supplying, and all that thing has become so easy, so accessible, that it's not even a joke. And all this is easier because earlier the earlier the sentiment was that people were very skeptical about online. You wouldn't see people making purchases online. Card transaction wasn't really a thing much, but now it is. Now, like I said, even the smallest of shop, they are using Google Pay. So which creates customers online. Once people are online, they are your customers, and that's the online customer base has grown so much that it only makes sense for you to start your entrepreneurial journey online and not really rely on traditional media. So I don't have to think twice about it. um, that's what I think, in a nutshell. I don't know if I've summarized what digital entrepreneur, because it's a pretty vague concept, to be honest. But it's just like I said, it could range from you wanting to make profits to it could just be social cause as well. It could, there are certain ideas that are there. Just for example, there's a brand that Eco Asia or something that is like a Google search, but for every search that people are going to do, they're going to plant trees, and that's a social digital entrepreneur idea, because and earlier you couldn't even think of an idea like what is the gratification for someone to plant a tree or be a part of the social cause. Now today, all I have to do as a consumer is just search. I don't even have to pay anything, and I become a part of this giant movement that is happening online. So from a digital entrepreneur's point of view, that is the idea could be as simple as that. So that's what essentially I this is my personal opinion. This is what I think is that what digital entrepreneurship is essentially is allowing people to you know think out of the box in terms of what they really want to do in terms of business, and not really rely on the traditional media approach. That's what essentially it is. And there's a lot of more other things. It offers scalability, right? Because uh, earlier, if I had a brick and mortar store, let's say I was in Mumbai and I wanted to expand in Delhi, now I had to go to Delhi. I didn't know the market. I had to figure out what really happens. But now today, if I can literally have a Mumbai and Delhi connection on a single page online, and I can have an e-commerce store and reach out to people throughout the globe. I don't even have to travel. So the scalability is a lot more. Uh, it gives people, the choice of reaching out to people who they never thought that they could. I just want you guys to tell me if you guys follow any influencers or any people who you believe are, good at doing the digital entrepreneur stuff.
I've been following Lily Singh ever since 2012, I think. Superwoman.
Hmm.
So I like how she's
Right.
built her entire thing, like right from she just started on YouTube, but she's built an entire empire for herself right now. So she's a
Yeah,
producer,
definitely.
she's an actor, she's a writer. So yeah, I really admire her for
Hmm.
that.
Yes, definitely. Anyone else?
So, like Ria mentioned, Lily Singh, there's also Prajakta Koli, who I
Right.
follow also. And
Okay.
then same journey, as in I see her, and I used to follow Superwoman as well. Since the
Right.
time they used to make only these videos on YouTube, and now they've gone on to, now they have, I believe they have talent management agencies behind them who
Right.
manage every account of theirs, because I think
Right.
affiliate marketing and all also is what she does.
Yes.
Uh, so it fascinates me that how can an entire agency be backed by this one person who's been so
Right.
influential. And it's really, I think you've made a point here that scalability is faster on digital, and you don't have to
Yes.
own a specific space if you want to
Right.
start a new company.
Yeah. And do you have any idea how do these people make money? Because that's the real game, right? Why do you want to be an entrepreneur at the end of it?
I mean, influencers have brand
Right.
affiliations, and they,
Right.
I think they take money per post or per story
Yes.
to be
Yep.
associated with the brand.
Yes.
And
And you'd
then
be surprised the amounts of the charge. Because I've dealt with them, and sometimes you think that okay, I should have been an influencer. I should have tried at least. Uh, but yeah, that's one way, because yes, brand sponsorship is one of the top most avenues for earning. But apart from that, like I said, your whole currency is the people that have subscribed to you, and you can literally use that to your advantage. Uh, and it also depends on platform to platform. So for example, on YouTube, maybe the views are the monetization, uh, you know a way to monetize how much you can earn. However, in terms of Facebook, it could just you be simply running an ad, or let's say you have an e-commerce platform, you can run an ad and actually get people to uh, be on your store and buy your products and stuff like that. Even the entire new idea of Bitcoin and the entire NFT is people just being digital entrepreneurs themselves, right? Crowdfunding is another way. to be, because earlier, like it wasn't quite possible for you to collaborate that easily. But now today, I can go online, find people of similar interest, and I can collaborate with them, either to create art and then sell it, or either to just sell things, or just be a part of a community, or whatever the heck your idea is. uh, Digital makes it so accessible and so easy for us to do. um, and although when and this is what I'm saying, when I started through my agency, that's what I've learned is that uh, because I've worked with a lot of these startups who are just newer ideas, like someone like a local Bania, for example, which was an entire online uh, you know grocery store. We would never have imagined that in my childhood, that this is something that can actually happen, that you can actually go online and buy sabzi. But that happened, and because someone had an idea that okay, this is possible, because what is digital is just real estate. It's real estate for the mind of the user, because that's they're going to come online and they're going to scroll their way through, and that's the spot that I can be in. Or this is the website, or this is Google. Someone is going to search for, okay, where can I buy vegetables, so can I be available? So it's as simple as that. It's real estate. It's how the offline world works. It's just the digitization of that same thing, because earlier when we would be going out and playing 10 hours of cricket or football, as kids, or but today we are just scrolling online, and that's where the audience is. So marketing is essentially where your audience is, right? That's where you have to be. And being an entrepreneur, that's what you have to realize, that where my audience is, and that's where you have to be. And that kind of summarizes what digital entrepreneurship is all about. And I think if you guys are interested in what, how to be an entrepreneur as well, um, that obviously there are certain ways. Like you have to first have an idea, and even before an idea, the interest. You know, is this really my thing? You know, uh, and then if you do, then you can take your small steps in terms of what is polishing that idea, and what are your goals, how do you want to achieve that, which platform to use, how do you collaborate, and what is content marketing, how can I create interesting content, because a lot of people want to be influencers but they don't, they're just not that popular. So how do you become that? How do you use that platform to its advantage? How do you continuously keep experimenting? Today you're thinking you're a star on TikTok, tomorrow it's banned. So you don't know how the community is going to react. Something controversial goes, you can really be a victim of that as well. So you don't know how to use that. So that's why you need to be able to learn the medium on the go. It's Digital is something that can never be a part of a book. How to learn digital marketing can never be a book. If there is a book, it's a lie. you know uh, and even whatever any teacher comes and tells you, okay, this is what digital marketing is, don't take their word for it, because it's not. Even what I'm saying about digital entrepreneur, I'm not sure what it is, because that's how flexible the platform is. It keeps changing. So if you're not updated till the date, um, you're gonna lose. And you have to stay updated, and you have to keep learning about that if you're interested in being an entrepreneur on digital. And that's what essentially I think, kind of what I wanted to talk about, kind of give you a fair bit of understanding of what it takes uh, to be a part of MET, and then start your own journey, uh, and then what exactly digital entrepreneurship kind of contains. So I hope I've kind of done justice to what you know you guys thought it would be.
So I think you have summarized what I mean more than we thought of what we thought of digital entrepreneurship is. Does anybody have any other questions? You can please ask. So can you spare a few minutes for questions if there are?
Yeah, sure.
Shreyas has a question, sir.
Yeah. Does
He's
digital marketing have a negative side? Of course, I think it has a huge negative side as well. Like I said, uh, a lot of people now, because have the power of the internet, there are a lot of opinions as well. You know, so There are a lot of what you call keyboard warriors, if you've heard. People can really pull you down, with the online bullying and as well. And this I'm talking from a digital entrepreneur side of you, because a lot of entrepreneurs are just single individuals, trying to do something of their own and all that. But sometimes they are really pulled down by people, who can't see that happening. So that's one negative side of it. The other negative side is that it's so constantly evolving that there's nothing, you really don't have something that you can really grasp on. So although it's a blessing as well, but it's not really, because you have to be so up in the game. You have to constantly keep updating yourself, and that can be tedious, from a learning point of view, because you'll be like, "Arey yaar, ye to kal seekha tha, but abhi freaking hell, this changed. It shouldn't have changed so fast, but it is, and that for a lot of people, that's a negative as well, because they can't keep up. I've seen a lot of people who have backed out of digital because they have gotten so tired of, and so frustrated, exhausted, so to say. I hope that answers your question.
So he has a follow-up comment.
Yes, sir.
Would be, what would be the question, follow-up question? I haven't
Um,
seen that. Just a second.
In the chat, he's mentioned also what
Okay.
I feel is that people are influenced pretty easily. So there's a chance they
Yeah,
can be.
of course, and as a person who runs an agency, I know this, because there's a lot of influencers who don't believe in the stuff that they do. And forget influencer, a lot of celebrities, a lot of marketing in itself is you telling people what you may not really believe. you know Advertising essentially is that, it's not always true. uh, I mean, even if it is true, you're kind of hiding a lot of things as well. So yes, one of the job of advertising is, as crassly I can put it, to manipulate your audience. And that's what happens even in terms of digital entrepreneur. People, influencers will make you believe that that is the kind of lifestyle that they have, when they don't. And a lot of the following could be bought. People can actually pay and get that kind of numbers and stuff like that. And it's simple as that. As an agency, I've been a part of that uh, culture as well, and I don't really like that. About digital, that's something that puts me off, and I don't want to contribute to it in a lot of ways. But sometimes, from the need of the hour, it depends. What really you want to do. So yeah, you can be fooled easily.
Thank you so much. I thank you on behalf of the entire class for sparing your precious time on a Saturday and
Yeah.
coming to take a lecture for us. Thank you so much. We're taking back a lot of what you've said.
Thanks a lot, guys. You've been a very kind audience, or just usual students.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you
Thank you,
so much.
sir.